for those of us that remembered it's Tuesday, because even though I reminded myself, I almost forgot. So, hey, here we go. It's holidays mess everything up. So, all right. So let's see if we get some 5x5 action, and we will go from there. Make sure my volume's down on my phone. Here comes the screen. You guys can see my finger, and Jacob saying 5x5. Good deal. All right. Happy back to work time after holidays. I hope everybody had a great holiday weekend. Remember the whole point of what it was for in the first place. But yeah, so hope everybody is safe and happy and full and just enjoyed some time with friends and family. It was nice around here, and so enjoyed myself. So y'all got to see the potato harvest, and then I did a whole video on zucchini that I got from neighbors up the hill, and so that was kind of fun to make that, and gave them a couple of loaves of zucchini bread on their way home today, so they were happy. So that was kind of fun to do. But yeah, so craziness in the world as per normal didn't go down. I figure we'll probably talk a little bit about it tonight because somebody will probably bring it up. But tomorrow's video, of course, I'm discussing the whole Kesara thing and the door-to-door thing. So I've already recorded that, did that earlier this evening. So unless you guys are asking questions about that, I got that one covered for tomorrow. But so how's everybody else doing? Is it harvest time for y'all? Green beans should be coming in, peppers should be coming in. In some places, you're already getting tomatoes. I've picked the first couple of cherries, but I got a lot of green tomatoes yet. Obviously, potatoes are in, and our beets are ready. I think I said green beans. Garlic is ready. So yeah, it's, all that work we put in the spring, now it's time to start seeing some of the fruition. Now the hard work starts. It's easy putting in little plants this big. It's a little harder when you got to harvest from them when they're, 3 feet wide. Yes, I'm having a non-alcoholic bush beer, so there we go. Oh, okay. And 54 cal says early blight is in. I got lucky. I had no blight on my potatoes. I was shocked. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Still don't think I'm going to put them in the compost pile. I know some people say you can, some people say you can't, some people say put them in. They're fine as long as you don't use that soil for potatoes, whatever it is. So I think I'll just stay safe and leave the potato plants out and just get rid of those altogether. I got enough weeds that'll give me plenty of compost. So going from there. All right. So yeah, fortunately not a ton of news other than, like I said, the Kesara thing and the door-to-door. Have you got the jab yet? Which that's kind of interesting. But so we'll leave it for more Q&A tonight. I notice my 3 executioners are here: Patriot Sandwich Maker, Jacob, and North Shore. So if you're new here, I will tell you this is a no BS zone. There is no warning. You say something rude to somebody in the chat, to me, to somebody else, you're gone. No questions asked. Okay, we keep it clean around here. PG-13 is acceptable. No topic is off limits. But you want to start coming in here and complaining and bitching, that go to a Kardashian channel. They're good for that. That's not what we do here. So. Okay, rules of the game for those of you that are new, please put all your questions for me in all caps. Okay, if you're having a conversation between, the 280 people that are in here right now, and probably be a bunch more quick, keep those in lowercase. I'm looking specifically in the chat for the capital letters questions. I know those are directed at me, and those are the ones I'll talk about. I go from the top down, try to get to as many as I can. If I haven't answered your question, please post it again. If I see it a second time, I will certainly just skip it over if I've already answered it, or if you ask something I've already answered for somebody else. But those are kind of the rules of the game. Other than that, this is y'all's time to ask me questions, and I don't have all the answers. Never profess to, never will say I don't. If I don't have them, Maybe I can direct you to somebody that does. I mean, I got an email today, somebody asking me questions about solar panels and stuff. I'm not the person to ask about something like that. I'm a noob when it comes to solar, okay? But I sent him over, said, maybe check with Alaska Prepper because, Rudy knows that stuff. And, I'd rather have you get answers from somebody that knows what they're talking about than me try to bullshit my way through it. That's just not how I fly. So if I know, I'll tell you. If I don't, I'll tell you. So, it's just honesty is the best policy around here. So, all right. So that being said, let me scroll up to the somewhat top here and I will see what we got in the way of comments, questions, and everything like that. So let's see, where are we? Okay, so this is the hello alls and yada da da da. Okay, all right. RNG's Dream RV Life says thank you for the zucchini bread recipe. I did that because y'all been screaming for a cooking recipe, and I know it was me, but a lot of questions this morning came down of how are you going to store all those potatoes, and I mean I must have put the link in there to my video from I think it was February on making the root cellar at least a dozen times. But just you got to figure out when you harvest all this stuff, you got to figure out what to do with it. Because I mean, like I said, this is my neighbor. He put 10 plants in, and you saw how many zucchini he got. And he got home tonight. And he sent me a picture. He's got 4 more that are these monster size. So you got to figure out something to do with all of these and how to store them. And okay, zucchini. You can make zucchini bread and freeze zucchini bread. You can shred the zucchinis. And a couple of people made in comments, shred the zucchini and freeze it in packages like that. Yeah, great idea, because then you can use it for something later. But you got to figure out what to do with it, because I mean, I've still got there's still 8 huge zucchini on my counter over here. I can't eat all that fast, and so you don't want to go through all the effort to grow this stuff and then just have it rot on you. So, figure out how to save it. Now, we're not to the point with these yet where we can save seeds with them. I will get to the seed saving videos as plants are ready to have seeds saved from them. Okay, and I mean, there's different plants at different times. You're not saving seeds from green zucchini. Okay. So haven't got that far yet, but I will. A lot of you have asked how to do it. I will show you as some of this stuff comes in. It's like radishes. Okay, I mean radish season's long over, but I'm still waiting for the seed pods to dry out so we can save seed pods from radishes, and I can show you that. Drying out on the plants. I haven't taken them off. Okay. Brian Keith Prepper. Speaking of potatoes, I'm making homemade French fries now from sliced potatoes in my deep fryer for supper. What kind of potatoes are you using? There's the catch. I mean, some are better than others for French fries. So, potatoes all have a different use for something. I mean, it's like the very first Kennebecks that we pulled middle of last week or whatever, Mrs. P boiled those up. We had those with dinner. And anyway, they were creamy, weren't starchy, didn't even need butter on it, a little bit of pepper, and I was golden with it. So, different potatoes are going to be good for different things. So, but I'd be interested in what kind of potatoes you're using. Because I'm still learning a lot of this stuff too. So, like I said, you guys teach me a lot. I mean, just on the video I put up at 6 o'clock 2 hours ago on zucchini, there's great ideas in there. Let's see. Rebuilding Ruins, Ronnie Hall. Hi, Pinball. Yesterday was my birthday and I got a new canner. Well, happy birthday and congratulations on the new canner. Don't get rid of the old one because now you got 2. One is none and 2 is 1. So, the old one still works. Keep it. If it's still working, you can get your canning done twice as fast. But having a canner still. Now, if you got the canning jars, which I was at Walmart today, and of course, every time I go to Walmart, it's just I have to look, and the canning jar shelf was empty. They're not there. I think there was one box of pints and one box of half gallons. That was it. That was there. The rest of the shelves are just empty. Let's see. Gray Sky Preps. My turnips are huge. Cool. I know a lot of people like turnips. I'm not a turnip guy, so I don't grow turnips. But I mean, I love seeing them because they're really cool looking to grow. So, uh, treasures in Kentucky. In the last 2 days, Japanese beetles have devastated my pole beans. Get some Sevin, Sevin. Make it a spray. The spray is a little easier to use than Sevin Dust. You can use Sevin Dust too, but get some Sevin. Spray that on your plants. That stuff's good for 90 days, which is pretty much going to be your season. So, spray them out for you, spray them out now, if you can at least save the plants and see what you can get. But I mean, you'll talk to a lot of people who swear by Sevin. Me, I'm one of them. And I know you'll get a whole bunch of people, well, I want to do it organic. Well, okay, I want to eat. So, there's a difference. You try to do as organic as you can, but there's only so much you can do to keep the bugs away. And, we're trying to grow food. It's like I said with my potatoes the other day. I'm not out here trying to get a blue ribbon. Okay. I'm out here trying to get food. And, the moral principle of, oh, I want to eat organic versus the moral principle of, oh, I want to eat, I'll choose the latter. Patrice Lindsay, I've been getting cucumbers, garlic, and zucchini, plus raspberries. My cucumber plants are still small. We've got some cukes on them, but we got the pickling cucumbers this year. Mrs. P wanted to do the little ones. So we did those. I usually like the straight eights. Those are my favorite cukes, or the English cucumbers. Our raspberries, I don't know what the story is on our raspberries. I mean, we've got a red raspberry bush and a blue raspberry bush that have been up for, this is its second summer. Not a single berry on them at all. Okay. And I know there's no problem with them getting pollinated. A, they're right next to each other so they can cross-pollinate. But B, this whole lot next to me is full of wild raspberry bushes. So, there's plenty of pollen around it. God knows we got the bees around here. So that's, so I don't know why I'm not getting berries on this. Figure, okay, we'll wait till next year. I mean, I got the plants for free. So, I'm not out anything if I don't, but, I still want them. Melissa Dove, you don't harvest potatoes until September. Depends on your climate. Okay. If where you are, maybe you don't harvest until September. I had no choice, but the plants were dying. I showed you in the video. That's when you harvest potatoes. And then when I pulled up a couple of the red ones that were starting to turn yellow, I had some rotting potatoes underneath. Okay, if I left all my potatoes for another 2 months, I'd have no potatoes. Okay, so depending on your climate, I mean, I'll use Danny at Deep South Homestead again. Okay, remember, these guys are down on the Gulf Coast. I think they're 30 miles in from the Gulf Coast down in southern Mississippi. They harvested potatoes a month ago. Okay, can you imagine leaving your potatoes in until September if you're in Mississippi? Okay, all depends on your climate. Where you are, maybe it's still September. Where I am, you saw the potatoes. Potatoes were good. You saw them also chitting. I'll get a second crop of potatoes in. So I will be doing that this week. Sue S., we had sugar snap peas, lettuce, Swiss chard, and green beans. My pea plants have been gone for 3 weeks. My lettuce bolted ages ago. My green beans are doing fine now, and I don't grow Swiss chard. So, and I know a lot of people swear by Swiss chard. I just don't like it. It tastes like dirt to me. So, sorry. Just does. Some people like stuff, some people don't. Let's see. Zucchini bread, yum. Bush beer, yum. Okay. Yeah, well, there you go. Sounds like my dinner. It was, a couple of slices of bologna and some zucchini bread and a couple of peppers and a couple of cucumber slices. That was dinner tonight. Lee Derby, Pinball, hello. I have a groundhog problem. Put up chicken wire around the garden, but they climbed over and ate zucchini, kale, cuke, spinach to the ground. I'm not going to be the one to answer that one because I've never had that issue. And so I really don't know. I mean, yeah. I don't have, I know I've got voles here. Okay, not Vols, Tennessee Volunteers. I got voles, but they don't mess with my garden. The only thing that messes with my garden is chipmunks, and they love the tomatoes. They will dig down to the bottom, and I guess they like the tomato roots or something like that. But they'll dig holes in all my potted tomatoes. I don't know if they're burying something or what they're doing. They're not killing the plants. But I know I've seen voles because when I was cleaning up some spots in the back part of the yard there, I saw, nice pointy nose, saw him run underneath something, into his hole. So, but they don't mess with my garden. So I can't help you with that one. I don't have critter problems with my garden here. And I mean, maybe it's the marigolds, maybe it's the garlic, or the onions. I don't know, but that would be my guess is what's keeping them away. It's garlic and onions and marigolds. It's something that's got a real pungent odor animals don't like. I mean, I've sworn by that for years. I've gardened in enough states, and I've never had problems with critters. But I can't speak for groundhogs. I'm not going to be the resource on that one. Somebody else is going to have to give you a better answer than I do. My apologies. Kiss My Grit says HIPAA violation as well as trespassing. My guess is that's a conversation on somebody who comes knocking on your door saying, have you got the jab? And my comment is, if you spend any more time on my porch, you are going to be leaving here in a stretcher, your choice. And then if they want to stay, they'll leave in a stretcher. HJS, any suggestions to eliminate moles? Same thing. I mean, the only thing I can say is that I'm not going to be your expert. I know what works for me. I don't have the problem with the critters. So same as before. The Rooster, it's starting. No beans. Tomatoes are excellent. Actually got a head coming on broccoli, and the advice you gave me to leave the peppers was excellent advice. So thank you, my friend. Okay. Now, I don't know where you are. I don't remember. I want to say that you were in Missouri, but that can't be right. Because you've got a head coming on broccoli, and man, I'll tell you, the broccoli around everywhere that I've talked to down south, the southern half of the United States, and probably half the west is all bolted because we just didn't get enough cold weather. So I'm guessing you're somewhere a little more north. Glad the peppers came through, though. That's good. Don't know why okay, but this would make sense. If you don't have beans and you're just getting heads on broccoli, then your weather's been cool enough that your broccoli's liking it. It's not warm enough for the beans yet. That would probably would be my answer, is its temperature. Okay. Ark's back. Hey, Ark, how was your break? What's my favorite crayon color? Cranberry. Let's see. Three Corners Hat. How did you get the name Pinball? It was my call sign when I was in the Army. Kemp Freehold. I had an ER visit with my daughter. That's not fun. Just big bump on the back of her head. Okay. I'm probably missing something there, but it was all caps. Who hung Henry? I have no idea what that means. Okay. The guys got to watch the typos too, because it doesn't make sense. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what CERN means. SERN. Okay, I got to scroll back up. It shot me all the way to the bottom here. Okay. Yeah, Lake Lizard says, I CERN an imposter zucchini bread video. Left off the iconic pinball out. So I've seen. Okay, yeah, all right. Desert Patriot, is there a chain store here in Tennessee that carries bulk food goods like Winco on the West Coast? I don't know. I know there's nothing like that around me. I mean, there's no Sam's Club, no Costco. There might be in Knoxville. There probably is, but I'm not going to drive an hour into, an hour plus into the city to go do that. It's not worth it to me. I'd spend more in gas than I'd save at the store. Sue S., how will I be storing my string beans? Can them. I've still got string beans in my pantry that I canned last year. And we're growing more. So But yeah, all my string beans get canned. Uh, Lisa Devine, how do I identify root rot on peppers? If the leaves start, even when you've watered them, the leaves don't crisp up, if you will, then you know you've got root. That's all going to be from too much water, so that the plant is basically drowned. And so if you water them and the leaves don't come up, you've got root rot issues. Robert Winslow, Pinball, did you hear that the DOD is considering making the jab mandatory? There's been some real conflicting stories on this. I guess there was somebody who put out a video yesterday that's saying that was going to happen. The Army came out today and said no, the jab is not mandatory until the DOD gives us any sort of guidance. We're not going to do it. So this is going back and forth. The rumor mill is running rampant with this. But considering, well, yeah, I mean, the DOD is, they'll consider anything, okay? Whether they do it is a different story. If the question is, did I hear that the DOD made it mandatory? Then there's an issue. Considering it means nothing. I'm considering buying, a new Tesla, right? Sure, okay, never going to happen, but, I can consider anything. Robert Walters, I'm selling lunar panels cheap. There you go. Paula Shields, door to door, will my no trespassing sign work? It should, because if they knock on your door, the first words out of your mouth is, can I help you? We're here from, did you see the sign that says no trespass? Well, we're the government official, then the sign applies doubly to you, okay? No solicitors, no trespassing. Sorry, you're not welcome here. Do not ring my doorbell unless I know you, is basically what that sign says. So, how would you like to have that job? Think about, I was a bill collector once, okay, long time ago. And, you want to get hung up on the phone all day long, go do that. But imagine being one of these guys, and all day long, all you're going to do is have somebody slam the door in your face with the 4-letter goodbye. So, this is why I say this is, Biden's an idiot and Psaki is as dumb as a box of rocks. There's 100 to 150 million people they're going to have to go door to door on, right? Okay. How many years is that going to take? Are they going to come out to my area, knock on my door? Hell, I'm 8 miles off the main road, okay? And there's a few houses within a couple of miles of me. Really? Is somebody going to drive out here to do that? That's a little insane, okay? Knowing that the people that haven't got the jab don't want it, okay? By now, everybody who has 2 ears, has 1 ear, has heard about let's just leave it that way. And they've pretty much made up their mind. I want it or I don't. I'm sorry, Joe, you can want 70% of the population all you want. I could want you in a box 6 feet under. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, okay? But actually, I don't, because I don't want Camel Toe as president, but that's beside the point. Vic Blizzard, do you grow or know someone that grows tobacco for a barter item? I don't remember who it was. There was somebody on the channel here, maybe about 5-6 months ago, who had tobacco seeds and sent an email to me and said, tell anybody that wants them, I'll send them to them. And I had a dozen people or so that said, yeah, they wanted them. And so I gave email addresses back and forth, and, that got done. I don't grow it because I don't use tobacco. I understand for a barter item, but I'm not going to waste my garden space for a barter item. What am I going to do? Grow tobacco so I can trade it for potatoes when I can just grow the potatoes? Okay. Depends on what you need to do. If you use it, I could see it. Am I stocked up on this? Yeah, I got about 4 years worth of stuff I can go on here, so I'm okay there. But I don't. I don't see the logic of wasting garden space to grow something to trade away. Because if you grow something to trade away and then nobody wants it, then you're stuck with it and you lost all that garden space. So, again, it's kind of like stocking your pantry. Only stock what you're going to eat. Same with your garden. Only grow what you're going to eat. Like I said, I don't grow turnips. I don't grow Swiss chard. Why? Because I don't eat it. If everybody else in the world loved it, good. Let them grow it. Okay. But I don't eat it, so I'm not going to save it. I'm not going to spend my energy and my time growing something so somebody else can have it. I get the point on barter, but it's a risk reward. It's not worth the risk that I'm going to take on being stuck with it and not have something I need for the reward for what I can trade it for. Can always trade something else. Wild West in Maine, we use seaweed in our garden. That's great. Seaweed's one of the best things you can put in your garden. Deb Martin, Pinball, do you have a root cellar for your potatoes? If not, how do you store them? If one of my mods would go back and put up the link to the video that I made on the root cellar, I put it in this morning's video on a bunch of comments, but if somebody can put it up there, I'd appreciate it. Or I can do it here real quick if you give me a second. That might just be faster. There it is. And bear with me. Come on. Hard to type with a messed up finger. Okay, there you go. There's the link to the root cellar video. 380 Scout Pinball. Now that you're done with your smokehouse, what prepper project will be next for you? For the time being, it's going to be working my gardens. Because the gardens, with me finishing the smokehouse and having to do the deck, I haven't done weeding in a couple of weeks in my garden. My gardens are sorely lacking the attention they need. So that's definitely what's on my project. For the gardens will be everything I'm working on probably for the next couple of weeks before anything else comes in, because between harvest, replanting potatoes, weeding, all that sort of stuff, there's a lot of outdoor activity that's got to get done there. So that's my priority. And then, of course, with that comes the canning, the curing, the storing. So, yeah, through this cycle of harvest, yeah, because there's going to be a lot, because it's not going to be long till my tomatoes are done. And I mean, we've got hundreds of tomatoes on these tomato plants. And so Mrs. P wants to make tomato sauce. She wants to make salsa. So, that's getting, onions cut and peppers cut and tomatoes cut and doing all that. So, I mean, there's a lot of kitchen work and garden work. So, outside of work, that is going to be where I'm going to be doing spending all my time, is outside cleaning up, my harvest. Because again, I put all the time and the effort into growing the stuff. I'll be damned if I'm going to lose it. Okay. Robert Bates, did I get the second planting of potatoes in this afternoon? No, I'll get that done this week. I've still got to go back and retill the patch where I had them there. You saw when I was pulling, there's weeds in there too, so I had to pull the weeds. I want to retill all that ground up, and then I'll get that done. But I'll get it in sometime this week, that's for sure. Let's see. Mama Preps for dehydrate the zucchini for soup. Yes, that's a possibility. And like I said, Mrs. P makes a hell of a vegetable soup / stew. We were talking about that this evening with the rest of the zucchini. We are going to make her vegetable soup / stew. And I told her, I said, let's just make a monster pot of it. We'll have some of it for dinner. I said, the rest of it we can and put it away. And I said, then at that point, we want something later, you just dump out the can and it's all done. So, meal in a jar. So we'll do that. And maybe if she's up to it, we'll film it because it works. But it's tomatoes and zucchini, and I mean it's a lot of soft vegetables, if you will. Diane S., what do you think about the elementary schools teaching kids to hate the USA? I all I can say is this: I'm very happy my daughter's done with college, but I know, and I think I've mentioned this before. I know when she was about 10, uh, this was shortly after my divorce. She had called me up one time, and this was what was it? This was about 2000. It was 2008, I guess. It was, no, it had to be no. It was probably around 2011 because the divorce was in 10. But we know at that point that Romney was running. I remember it. Romney was running against Obama, and so my daughter asked me all sorts of questions about the G7. I mean, she was 10 or 11 years old. She's asking me what the G7 is, and we're discussing politics with my 11-year-old. Okay, 2000. Yeah, she was 11, and at the time, she was solid conservative. Enter post-divorce. My wife was pseudo-conservative. I mean, she leaned right, but she wasn't as far right as I was. And new school system. And all of a sudden, my daughter is a woke liberal. And we've had some arguments, let's put it that way, about it. And of course, I've been called racist by my daughter, and I'm like, give me a freaking example. And she's like, well, because you like Trump. Okay, it does not make me a racist, but that's the mindset. But schools should not be teaching political ideology at all. Schools should be teaching facts. The parents should be teaching the ideology. The problem we have is the schools now think they are the parents because for the last 30 years the parents have allowed the schools to be the parents. Hey, go to school, then do your after school activities, just be home in time for dinner, and that's it. The parents didn't get involved. And they just let the schools run it. Well, the schools started running it, the schools kept tipping further and further and further and further left, and it wouldn't surprise me right now if you've got history classes that aren't teaching, the kids that Ronald Reagan was the worst president ever, and, they should be worshiping Joseph Stalin and Lenin. But yeah, I mean, if I was younger and had younger kids, I guarantee you my kids would be in a private school. There's no freaking way I would put my kids in public school at all. With the teaching profession has completely lost all credibility in the United States. And I know there are good teachers, don't get me wrong, okay? But as a whole, the teachers union is one of the most corrupt, crooked group of people that basically hold everybody hostage. We're not going back to work unless you do this. I mean, we've heard this constantly. How you're either going to teach critical race theory or we're not going back to work. Okay, that's school. That's not what you're there for. Okay, you're there to teach the kid reading, writing, arithmetic. You remember those things? Not ideology. Okay, and so no, I'm 100% against the school system teaching kids anything about ideology. I'm sorry, that was a little rant, and I apologize to any teachers. Like I said, I know they're not all bad, but the liberal teachers deserve to be drawn and quartered because they are about the worst thing possible for this country. They are the teachers. Those liberal teachers are the ones that are responsible for 90% of the crap we're in right now, because for 2 generations they have ruined the children's minds, and the parents that decided to give the kid everything they want, i.e., Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and all these little spoiled brats running around. That's what this country's turned into. Okay. Somebody had to get my blood pressure up, huh? Okay. Camperman, no, I am not the oh great cooker of Tennessee, that's for sure. Let's see. Shauna Wood, strikes going on in Erbil, northern Iraq. On our base, 20 rockets, 4 drones from the Israeli news. Yep, we got more crap going on over there. But again, that's not going to end. USA veteran prepping. How long do you think till the mass power outage? I kind of touch on this in the morning, okay, but I'll give you guys the sneak preview here. Cyber Polygon is Friday. Okay, everybody's been talking about it for months. July 9th is Friday. Okay. And the funny part is with this whole Kesara thing, Cyber Polygon is going to be what would happen if we had a complete collapse of the supply chain grid. Look at the ransomware hack on Friday. What was that? That was a supply chain grid hack. Okay. Now, if you have these, and Revel is a very sophisticated hacking group. If you don't think that they aren't practicing right now, waiting for July 9th, because you can just imagine, okay, the World Economic Forum's been planning this practice exercise for a year that they've been telling everybody they're going to do it on July 9th. Well, you know what, guys? Why don't we make it a real world exercise for them? You know damn well that's what they're thinking. And it would not surprise me one bit if we woke up Friday morning and had no power, or no internet, or no cell phone, or no nothing. Not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if it did, because, it's advertising here. Well, gee, we're going to pretend this happens on this date. And so you get the nefarious characters go, well, let's just make it happen and stop playing pretend. Okay. Let's see how you react. So, but I go into a little more detail on it in the morning. But it could be soon. I can't give you a specific date. If it's not that happens, China is preparing for a full-scale war. They've come out publicly and said that. Who the hell do you think China's going to war against? Okay. It's either India or us. China's not worried about, going after Peru. So, and how's that going to happen? Well, it's going to be a cyber attack, and the very first thing they're going to do is take out communications and take out the grid. That's what cyber attacks do. Sarah Kelly, I would also be interested in barter ideas. I did a video on barter items 9 months ago, somewhere thereabouts. It's back there. Things that you can have to keep that you would do for barter. So it's a long time ago, but I did it. And if you want, I will try to look it up real quick. I don't remember what the title is, but let's see if I just put the term. Yep, there we go. Found it. Here you go. Give me a second. Well, maybe this might be it. I'm not sure. Boy, we all look so different in winter clothes than we do in summer clothes. Let's get back to where you guys are, and that is here. Oops. Okay. That should be the video. Undercover 0047. Pinball, the whole town just lost all power. I told my friend before it happened about prepping for shit. It's the fan. Then poof, it goes down. Tree fell on the line. That's it. It doesn't have to be an EMP. Okay. It can be a tree fell on the line. I've told you guys the story about me being up in the suburbs of Boston in, 2012, 2013? I don't remember which. And the Halloween ice storm they had. It was early enough that none of the leaves had fallen off the trees, and we got an ice storm. So when the ice came, not only did it stick to the branches, it had the leaves to stick to too, which made the trees extra heavy. And, anybody that's been in New England, know anything, there aren't underground power lines up there because it's all granite. Okay. So, everything's above ground. So trees were falling everywhere and knocking out power. We lost power on Halloween, and it was out until the following Tuesday. So it was out for like 5 days. The nearest place we could go to a Dunkin' Donuts, and if you've ever been to New England, Dunkin' Donuts is like going to church. Okay. The nearest Dunkin' Donuts was a half an hour away that had power, and the line was so freaking long, they ran out of cups. All right. So, that wasn't an EMP, but destroyed everybody's sense of normalcy. I mean, that's all it takes. It can be a storm. You got hurricane or storm Irma. I think it's Irma or Ursa or something like that. That's going to hit Florida here. I mean, the people down there know what it's like. They get hit with a hurricane every year. The Gulf Coast, Florida. Half the time the Carolinas get hit. Yeah, ask them sometime about going without power for a few days. They're used to it. The rest of us, not so much. It's like, oh my God, the power's been out for 6 hours and we're freaking out. Okay, now when the power's been out for a couple of days, now figure out what you're going to do. I mean, I've said many times to people, run an exercise in your house, throw the main circuit breaker in your house, and just try to live for the weekend with no power and see how inconvenient it is and figure out what you can do otherwise. I mean, simple things like no hot water for a shower. The dishwasher doesn't work. I can't cook my dinner, whatever it would be. How are you going to adapt? And I mean, at least in that case, it's like, oh my God, I need the CPAP machine to go to sleep tonight. Okay, you can throw the power back on, right? But for the rest of it, run a practice drill. You'll be thankful you did. Big Bear Prep says, I flour and egg my zucchini and freeze them in layers of wax paper. Okay. I'm assuming you're making fried zucchini at that point. Montana Grizz fan, there's a story about the La Quinta columna. I'm not sure what that is. A team of Spanish researcher team discovering the Pfizer vaccine contains graphene oxide. I don't even know what you're talking about here. There's too many typos in here, and I haven't heard anything about. I don't even know what graphene oxide is. Never even heard of that. Brian Keith Prepper, russet potatoes. I'm using russet sliced in strips, deep fried, homemade French fries. Family loves them. They're so much better than store-bought fries. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's probably from the question from 45 minutes ago. Nunzio, have any advice? Carrots struggling with the extreme heat. My carrots, this year sucks for carrots. I think that's pretty much anywhere and everywhere. If you were lucky enough that you could have way down south and you could have planted them early, maybe you got it good. I've got little carrots that are this big. I mean, they're just carrots need lots of water, but they don't need they need regular water. They don't need 3.5 inches in a day and then 90-degree dry temperatures, or dry 90-degree days dry for the next week. It does not work. Carrots do not like that. Craig Yergin, should I be concerned about the grasshoppers? If they're in your garden, yes. If they're anywhere else, no. Okay. I mean, the grasshoppers they got to eat something. But, if they're in your garden eating your stuff, again, I'll go right back to spray 7. Okay, let's see. Oh, Lake Fairy's in here. Hello, Heather. Let's see. Kenneth Oliver, squirrels have found the tomatoes. Repel does not work. Have a trap, but what bait? Peanut butter. Peanut butter is about your best bait for rodents. That'll get them. Patrice Lindsay, I got 3 boxes of Ball Brand pints, quarts, half pints, jelly jars. Nice. Okay, good. Pick them up. Karen, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. I didn't see. Yeah, we talked about the Biden folks coming to do the super chat here, about 10 minutes ago or so. So let me refresh here because I can't get out of that. All right, so let's go back up here. Ron Angevine, Pinball, we're thinking about moving to Tennessee or Kentucky. Out of all the states you've lived, Tennessee the best. It's where I am now. Yeah, I mean, and granted, you got to remember this is going through 50 years of time. Okay, born in Chicago, would never move back. I hated Michigan. It was probably, I mean, there's great spots in Michigan where I happened to be in the suburbs of Detroit. I couldn't stand it. Okay, so I left. It wasn't the state; it was the people. California, obviously, I wouldn't go back. Arizona, I was down in Sierra Vista, which is halfway between Tucson and the Mexican border. The Army town. That was about it. El Paso, again, that was Army time. I loved Dallas Fort Worth. I lived in Denton. I went to college there. Loved that area. Uh, there I'd go back to. I wasn't a big fan of the Cincinnati area. Then I was back in Chicago. Then I was up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Indiana was okay. The reason I wouldn't go back is that's where my ex-wife is. New Hampshire was beautiful. Massachusetts I did not like. Salt Lake City I'd go back to. Nevada I left because of the politics. And then here, yeah, if I had to find the absolute best, I think this would be it. Okay, it's probably why I'm here. But for the right politics, for an agreeable climate, for sights to see, cost of living, housing costs, taxes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'd say if you mixed everyone together and took the good points out of it and got rid of the bad ones, this is probably pretty close. I mean, sure, sales tax is high here, okay? But that's because property tax is low and there is no income tax. They got to get the money from somewhere, all right? And I wish we'd do a national sales tax. I think that's the way to do it. But, there's pros and cons. I mean, you get out in the country and sure, there's drug issues, I mean, I don't see it around me, but I mean, I know it's here somewhere. I talk to the cops occasionally and they bust the guys that are, doing meth or whatever around here. I mean, but that's anywhere, but I'm not worried about, oh my God, I forgot to lock my door tonight. Somebody's going to break in the house or something like that. So I don't worry about stuff like that. The people out here are extremely nice. Most of them. Some of them are assholes. Okay. But that's anywhere. Glenda Barchi, why does the U.S. keep getting involved with other countries? South America doesn't get involved. That's because we have this bad habit of sticking our nose into everything, thinking we have all the answers as a country. All right. I did a video a while back, okay, and my political beliefs, ever since I've been old enough to have them, I've always been an isolationist. Okay. Screw the rest of the world. We need to take care of the United States first. Unfortunately, politicians have their hand out, and when, some country says, hey, Mr. Senator, can you give us some help? We need $10 million. And Mr. Senator goes, oh, you need $10 million? Great. Okay, Congress, we need to put $11 million in the budget for XYZ country. Okay, $11 million goes to XYZ country and $1 million goes sliding right back to that congressman. Okay, that's the problem. Oh, well, it was a contribution to his campaign. That's why he's staying at, the penthouse suite in a Ritz-Carlton, and has a, 40-foot Cadillac picking him up, taking him to Ruth's Chris for dinner. I'm sure as hell not, driving, sleeping, and eating like that. But, hey, he made sure they got their $10 million or whatever the hell it would be. So, yeah, we keep getting involved in other countries because we have crooked politicians. There's next to nothing we need from any other country in the world, with the exception of a few rare earth elements. That's it. Okay, of course you got to be. It's common sense. I mean, Trump had us energy independent, and Biden said, no, I want to rely on Iran. Stupidity is another part of it. And Biden's got stupidity in droves. Mama Preps for, we regularly dry camp for 10 days at a time, no problem. Plus, I grew up dirt poor. Yeah, a lot of other people, like I said, a lot of other people need to do it. It's worth just a weekend. Watch how the kids freak out when their phone doesn't work. And I guarantee I'm right on this one. Anybody that's got teenagers, let alone little kids, okay? They wake up in the morning, they shut the alarm off, and before the hand comes off the end table, they've picked up the phone and they're checking their email. They haven't even got out of bed yet, but I guarantee they've already touched the phone. When the phone shuts off, watch, Mom! Really? Bruce here, how many times do you hit the light switch when you know the power's out? Yeah. Exactly. It's habit. You still do it. Let's see. Jamie R. I'm going to buy carrots in a bag while they're cheap and can them. Did not even plant them. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I mean, we buy probably 5 pounds of carrots a week, but carrots are the dog treats. They believe it or not, Daphne loved carrots and trained Copper to love carrots. So now both dogs love carrots, and I figure carrots are a lot healthier for them than milk bones or anything like that, and not all the fat and calories and stuff like that. And they like them, so it's like, okay, carrots are dog. And I love carrots too, but we go through probably 5 pounds of carrots a week around here. Let's see. Oops, it just shoot me up again. Sure enough. Odette Capas, I'm going to try this. Capatasto. My apologies if I pronounced that wrong. Did you hear about another pipeline explosion today? Yeah, isn't this funny? Where, we have pipelines in, what was it? The Ukraine, I think it went, and then it was Romania or something like that. And you had another one that went up. You got the deal down in the ocean off the coast of Mexico. Isn't it amazing that how all of a sudden all these ecological disasters with oil are happening, and you're just waiting for Joe to come up and go, see, this is why I told you we need to stop the Keystone Pipeline. I'm just waiting for that. It's like, no, Joe, when you got, the Mexican pipeline that broke because it's a socialist government and nothing was maintained. Gee, that's what you want us to be like. Okay. So if we get rid of you, things will be better. But I'm waiting for that. Purring Lady, hey, I'm a Uper here. I can't say anything about the UP. I've never been there. So, okay. I was, like I said, suburbs of Detroit. The UP and Detroit are two different worlds. Amy Arsenault, I was coming back from Maine at my sister's camp on Route 95, and what should have been a 4-hour ride turned out to be 8 because someone heading north on 95 crossed the median and went into the southbound. I just remember traffic around Boston. I mean, and I think I've talked about this before. I'd leave for work at 6:30 in the morning, and I'd go 5 miles an hour on the highway. If I left at 5:30 in the morning to be there at 8, I'd go 10 miles an hour on the highway. It was just ridiculous. It was like I worked 19 miles from home, and if I made it in less than an hour, it was a good day. It's like when I got once a month I had to work on Saturday. It was like I go in on Saturday, 20 minutes, I'm there, because there was no traffic on Saturday morning. I was like, oh, okay. And keep it safe. Early Christmas, 25 packs of wide mouth lids. Where'd you find them? I mean, I'm okay with lids, but share with the group where you found them. Masshole sucks. Yes, ain't that the truth? Jamie R, go to the store and grab things on sale to can while you can. Yeah, because guys, it's not going to be, on the canning subject. Remember when this all came down as a problem? It was late summer last year when canning season started, when the harvest started coming in. Now, we all know for the last year, canning supplies have been a pain in the ass to find throughout the winter, throughout the spring, whatever. Wait till canning season starts. I mean, you think everything's gone now? Give it a month. There ain't going to be nothing. And, what do I do with all this stuff again? That's the problem. So, again, can what you can, buy what you can while you can get it, and figure out alternative ways to store whatever you got. Dispatch, what do I think about cold smoking meat? It's regular smoking would make an extra long tube so by the time the smoke reaches, it cools down. Or just keep it as a colder smoke. Because, I figured out real quick what it took to do it in this one. If I filled up the firebox with wood, I'd get up to about 225 or 250. If I burned one log in there, I was keeping it down about 110. And obviously, if you want to smoke cheese or smoke bacon or something like that, you probably want about 85 or whatever it is. I can do that. So, in my smokehouse, I have that ability. But, for a electric smoker or something like that, I don't. The only thing I'd ever smoked on before I built this thing was one of those little bullet smokers, the cheap ones that you get at Lowe's or Walmart or whatever. It looks like the big green egg, except it's just square and black. It looks like a little Weber kettle. I mean, you couldn't cold smoke on one of those, but in there I know I can. Dispatch, why didn't I like Massachusetts? Multiple reasons. First off, the cost of living there was ridiculous. Okay. Second of all, it's the only place in the country. I mean, you know, I wear my Army veteran hat. I've worn that thing for years. It's the only place I've ever been where I was called a baby killer. Now, that was a term that was used for guys coming back from Vietnam, which was extremely insulting to them. Okay. Well, when Vietnam ended, I was 5. Okay. So it just told me how ignorant the person was that said this. And the cost of living, the taxes, and the people were I found a lot of the people to be rude. I mean, I found some very nice ones, don't get me wrong, okay? But I'm more friendly type, you know, hey, how you doing, everything like that. You know, I always used to make the joke when I lived in Salt Lake City, because I left Boston and moved to Salt Lake. You want to talk about culture shock. But I made the joke, you know, you're driving down the road in Salt Lake City, you get a flat tire and 4 cars will stop and try to help you. You drive down the road in Boston and try to get a flat tire and 4 cars will go past you like this. So, and I mean, that's not insulting to Boston. That's the truth. So, yeah. Mark Carolyn, Hector Prepper. I don't have any questions. I've been paying attention to you. Okay. I don't know who Hector Prepper is. People's Republic of Mass. Yeah, this is not a beat up on Massachusetts Day. I mean, I know there's a lot of good people in Mass. I mean, Jacob's from Mass. Okay, you know, one of our moderators. Brian Keith, thank you for the super chat there. I mean, I dated somebody there, so, you know, I mean, obviously there's some good people there in my mind, but yeah. Would I go back? No. And I wouldn't go back primarily because of the politics and because of the cost of living. John Thompson, I see an Iranian oil field exploded. No, I haven't heard about that. Rooster Cogburn. Massachusetts, I pay $15,000 real estate tax on 26 acres. Jeez, unbelievable. Mary Rogers, I would like some tobacco seeds. Huh? If you can invent time travel and get back to me about 6 months ago, I can hook you up. Let's see. Whoops. Kevin Harris, old Joe talking about going door to door with a Jabberwocky. That won't end well for someone. Yeah, we talked about that at the top. Like Patriot Sandwich Maker says, we're right here at the end. Keep it clean. Diana, take us fishing at the lake soon. Yes, that's one thing I'm definitely going to get out and do is go fishing. Because now that I got the smokehouse done and the deck is practically done, as soon as the screws come in, I can put the last 2 boards in. That'll be done. Mrs. P wants me to go catch some fish so I can smoke some fish, because that was the reason she gave me permission to build the smokehouse in the first place, so I could smoke some fish for her. But I got to catch the fish. So, you know, nothing like I get to do all the work on that one. Just picking on her. But yeah, so yeah, because I know a few of you guys have asked me to see the lake and everything like that. I mean, and the funny part, it's called Norris Lake. If you look on a map, you'll see what it is. But actually what it is it's 2 rivers. It's the Clinch River and the Powell River that they flooded in the 1940s to create a lake. And I mean, it's not like this big round or oval shaped lake. I mean, there's fingers all over the place. And, you know, where I am is just another one of the fingers off of the thing. I mean, it's huge. I mean, if I wanted to go around it to go to a restaurant that I can drive to in 15 minutes from here, it would take me more than 4 hours by boat to go around, because it's a huge horseshoe. And I'm on one end of the horseshoe and I'd have to go all the way around the other end of the horseshoe to get over here. But yeah, I mean, to drive from here to the other side of the lake, you know, to the far end of the U of the horseshoe, be about an hour and a half drive, to give you an idea of how big this thing is. But it's one of the cleanest lakes in the United States, which is really nice. The fishing for bass is smallmouth. I mean, they've had the FLW tour here on this lake, you know, professional bass fishermen's tour. They've had it out here. So, I mean, it's a really good lake, clean, smooth, big enough that you can get out and do anything. Well, I mean, huge boats that can be on this thing, but small enough that you get off in a little cove and you just be there fishing by yourself. No big deal. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, when I get out there and go fishing, I will take you guys out there with me. I'm still working on restoring the 1971 boat I've got. So I'm not going to have that done this year. It'll be probably ready to go in the water again next year. But because I've got too many other things to do. But the boat is actually a prep, believe it or not, guys, because there's one road in and one road out of this town because I'm on a peninsula. There's literally one road in, one road out. Something happens that road, I can't get out of here. The only way out is by boat. So that is it. So my $800 boat that I'm restoring. But hey, if the world never goes to hell, I got a boat. So, all right, y'all. 9 o'clock. Have a great Tuesday evening. We'll see y'all in the morning. Pinball out.